This presentation is on internet pornography and erectile dysfunction. To really understand porn addiction, I suggest watching my 6-part series, Your Brain on Porn. Before I go any further, I want to point out that we are for free speech and free will, don't want to ban porn, and don't care what anyone does with their genitals. My wife and I have another site on relationships. It has nothing to do with porn. However, several articles on the neuroscience of orgasm and love are there, including other articles on evolution and sexuality and addiction. We also have a forum that discusses topics on sexuality. About 5 years ago, with Google's help, porn users began showing up, telling their stories, blogging, and sharing. Years later, our forum is populated with porn users in various stages of recovery. We have learned a lot about porn addiction and porn-induced erectile dysfunction. Here's a typical quote from a heavy porn user. I'm in my late 30s, have been using porn heavily since my teens, and I have had ED problems for a long time, at least since my late 20s, though it's only recently that it's become almost total copulatory ED. I've blamed it on the attractiveness of my partners, on the newness of my partners, on my fitness levels, my diet, my age, stress, performance anxiety, lots of things. But when I realized I could no longer even masturbate to orgasm without porn, something clicked. It seems blindingly obvious now, of course. Now, this is very common for heavy porn users in that they often don't see that the cause of their ED is porn related. Here's another typical quote. We could fill up a book with them. I am 24 years old and have been battling ED for years now and only recently attributed it to porn addiction. I tell you what, I have been on an emotional roller coaster while trying to figure out what the problem was. What makes the whole thing so difficult is that you know that you should be aroused by real women, but for some reason you can't. Then you try consciously to make yourself aroused, which is basically impossible, and once this fails, you spiral into depression and anxiety. Physicians really need to be more aware of what is going on with this. It's something, on our forum we have seen teenagers with erectile dysfunction. This is not normal, let me tell you. Sure, guys in their teens and 20s can have occasional anxiety, but not chronic impotence, unless of course they have a serious medical condition. It's very clear their ED was caused by heavy porn use, because when they stopped and stayed off porn, their erections and desire returned. With continued heavy porn use, the brain can change. Here are a few ways that the ED can manifest. Number 1, no spontaneous erections. Guys really love it when their morning wood comes screaming back. Number 2, not aroused by static porn. Really, it's not aroused by any previous porn. In fact, guys often need to escalate to more extreme porn to even get aroused. Unfortunately, that's a sign of addiction. Number 3, decreased penile sensitivity. This indicates that your brain is actually less sensitive. Number 4, delayed ejaculation or the inability to have an orgasm with real partners. In fact, men are now faking orgasms with their sexual partners. That's very interesting. Number 5, copulatory impotence, the inability to maintain an erection with a real live sexual partner. This is a major complaint we hear about. Number 6, ED drugs are losing their effect. Why? Because the problem is in the brain, not the penis. And number 7, eventually can't get it up even with extreme porn use. If it is a growing problem, then why do we hear so little about internet porn causing erectile dysfunction? Well, there are many reasons. One obvious reason is that fast connections with free streaming internet porn is a relatively new phenomenon. Now that endless variety of extreme porn has been in place for a while, we are seeing guys who started at 12 coming down with impotence by age 15, 16, 17. Number 2, it may take some time for the ED to develop, perhaps years. Although time frames are highly variable, ED may suddenly appear. More importantly, users may not notice ED because to keep their erections, they have escalated to longer use and more extreme flavors of porn. This is not a value judgment on any type of porn. It's what is extreme to the users, which differs person to person. Number 3, men don't talk to each other about it. No guy wants to admit he has ED. Also, guys don't make the connection. We humans are often blind to cause and effect, especially if we don't want to see it. I want to point out that the omnipresence of Viagra and other ED drugs has created this consciousness that chronic ED is normal. ED is supposed to be very rare under the age of 40 and unheard of in the teens and 20s. Well, until recently, that is. Number 4, healthcare providers may be unaware of how today's internet porn with its constant novelty and endless variety can affect the brain. It is quite a fast-moving phenomenon. See, good advice depends on being up to date on the latest neuroscience. To understand how internet porn can affect the brain, you have to know that excessive gambling, food, video games can cause brain changes that mimic drug addiction. So it's clear that masturbating to the internet porn can be a whole lot more stimulating than those other things. Also, historically, there has been a paradigm. If you have a problem like erectile dysfunction, it was caused by guilt or shame. No way. If that was the case, ED would show up immediately in porn users. Part of the reason healthcare professionals are in the dark is that no research has been published on porn and erectile dysfunction. There's been just a few studies on internet porn in the last 5 years, and they were basically just questionnaires. No brain studies yet to truly assess the effects of porn on users have occurred.